What's up, everybody? Welcome to Bad Beat Sports Betting. Joined as always with Steve. I'm David. What's up, dude?
Not much. Not much.
It
Mm,
felt weird not having a Thursday night football game
Yeah, I
this week,
was.
even though Tuesday night football was pretty solid to watch. If they did that every week, I think I could be about it.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, but yeah, I wish there was a Thursday night game. It was like I was rushing to. I forgot. I was like rushing to put in like a pick and set my fantasy lineup. I was like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, it's just part of the normal schedule now to not have that. It was weird.
Yeah,
But we have a full slate of games this Sunday.
yeah, it should be a
Even though
good good slate.
there was some COVID scares, right?
Yeah, I saw Jacksonville apparently a practice squad player had a case, so they like did virtual practice, but I think the game's still on. And I think that's the only one I heard. Maybe the Patriots might have had another case.
Yeah, they did the same day that Cam and Gilmore came back to practice. They had another positive,
Hmm.
but I haven't heard any games get canceled.
Yeah.
So hopefully they
It's
just go off without a hitch.
it sounds like they have it under control for the most part. So hopefully we'll still have the games. I have all the games listed here on like last week where I just was like not dealing with the COVID games. But
Mm.
speaking of which,
Yeah, you had a good week last week.
yeah, you got to catch up. You were slacking a bit last week.
Yeah, hopefully none of you guys responsibly gambled off of my picks because it was a bad week. But we're gonna come back strong. I had a good week the week before, and I feel that energy this week. So let's do it.
Okay, so kicking off the week, we got Ravens at Eagles, and the Ravens are 7.5 point favorites in this game.
I really wanted to pick the Eagles
That's
with
how I
this one.
felt, but I just couldn't do. I couldn't bring myself to
Yeah,
do it.
I think the Ravens will cover on this one.
Yeah,
Even though it's in Philadelphia, I just don't see the Eagles having the firepower to keep up with the Ravens team.
yeah. I was really feeling Eagles at first, but I wound up looking up the statistics, and the Ravens. I think they're 3-2 covering the spread this year, and I was like, I think they'll. One of those games was against Kansas City, so I think they should have. I think they should be able to cover this 7.5 point spread against the Eagles. I don't. I was just going off of trends and gut feeling, so I'm going Ravens here.
Yeah, it's very similar to the trap I fell into last week with the Ravens and Steelers, and the Ravens didn't help me out there, so I'm betting against the Ravens this time.
All right, next we got Washington football team at the New York Giants. I'm staying out of this game. This is all you.
Yeah, I love the Giants in this game. I think that it'll be a good game for uh, Darius Slayton. I think you can go over on his yards total like last week. Washington, they have a good pass rush, which might cause Daniel Jones some trouble. But their quarterback situation's a mess. If Alex Smith was that quarterback, it might be a different story. But with Kyle Allen, I'm going Giants with the 3 points all the way.
Yeah, I think the big thing that will define this game is how Daniel Jones responds to the pass that Washington pass rush and that Swiss
Yeah.
cheese Giants O line. All right, so next up we got Broncos at Pats. Hopefully this game happens, as we were discussing before. I think it'll happen.
Yeah, this one was the one canceled last week. I'm surprised that the Pats are favored by as much as they are.
I think it's the quarterback situation. I think for Denver, just so much uncertainty and instability in that position, and well, both teams are coming off a bye week now, right? With this,
Yeah, so you
so
get
that doesn't really
Belichick
define.
with extra time. You never want that. Plus, I guess Blake Ripken is a rookie quarterback. So, yeah, I'm taking the Pats to cover because of that. I'm just surprised it's so high because of you don't know if Cam could play because he just came back. You don't know how he's going to look, but
Well,
I think they'll be fine.
I think so. Cam is playing, right? He's
Yeah, he
he's
came
clear
back to
in the clear.
practice on Thursday, I believe.
He should be fine as long as he was still tossing around like by himself his isolation, because it sounded like he had a very asymptomatic case to begin with, or a very mild case. So I'm assuming that, at most a lack of practice would be the only thing to affect it. I don't think actual COVID's going to be affecting him. But yeah, I'm going to take the
I guess.
Pats to cover 8.5. All right, so next up we got Browns at Steelers. I actually think this is going to be a good game.
Yeah, this
The
this week actually has some very good games on it. Like last week was a week schedule wise. This week is loaded. Like you got this game, 49ers Rams is a very intriguing game, and of course the Chiefs and Bills, who are both 4-1 teams, I believe. But this game, I'm going against all the numbers. Like the Browns seem to be breaking all these like sad Brown stats. Like they haven't been 4-1 since 1990 something. I think that it's going to be the first time they win in Pittsburgh. I think it's like 16 years. They haven't won in Pittsburgh since like we were in elementary school.
Probably.
I think that they break it this year. I'm taking them with the points, but I think that they come out with the win too.
Yeah, like I don't think that's that bold of a prediction. I'm actually gonna. I had a hard time picking in this. I every time I bet against the Steelers, it never works out. So I'm going off of my trend so far this year to not lose betting against the Steelers anymore. I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a good game, but I think the Steelers win by 3.5 or more. Obviously more.
Yeah, the Steelers are a very good team, and also the injury report is in their favor. Like Odell didn't practice at all. Not with COVID. I think he had another illness, but
always getting something. Him maybe
but if he's
inhaled too much poop on his chest or something.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? But as long as he's in the game, I don't think it'll affect him that much.
All right. Next up, we got Bengals at Colts, and the Colts are 8-point favorites in this game, and I don't see it. I know the Bengals are, they have their issues. I mean, they picked the number 1 overall for a reason, but I don't think the Colts are that good, and I actually am excited to see what Joe Burrow could do in this game. I'm personally taking the Bengals against that 8-point spread.
Yeah, I'm with you with the points for sure. Burrow last week was an anomaly. They played a very great team in the Ravens, but he's still 4-1 in his career against the spread. Also, I feel like the Colts should just go with Brissett. I think he'd give him a better shot than Rivers is right now. He's
I think so too.
Playing pretty awful. It looks like he's done. I don't know. They should not be more than a touchdown favorites in any game going forward.
Especially this. All right, next up we got Lions at Jaguars. If this happens, I think it'll happen. It's only a practice squad player on the Jaguars. Freaking Jaguars got to ruin everything. But I'm taking the Lions to cover that. I know I've crapped on the Lions a bit in previous weeks, but I think the Lions are a better team than the Jaguars. Jaguars have not shown me that much promise. I mean, there's always a chance Minshew Mania crushes our dreams, but I think the Lions win this, and I think they win by a touchdown at least. So I'm taking that Lions 3.5 point spread.
Yeah, I'm with you. The Lions, if anything, they have offensive firepower, and I don't know if the Jaguars can necessarily keep up.
Yep. So next up, we got Bears at Panthers, and this is a tough one in my opinion. Tough one to pick.
This is very much a contender pre-contender game. The Bears are a fluky 4-1. I think they're only +5 on the season with that record, and the Panthers are 3-2, and they haven't lost without their best player, Christian McCaffrey. So who knows if they're a real team. I like the Bears to win. Nick Foles, he does have some magic to him, I guess. We saw last week Tom Brady having a mental error, which you never see. I don't know. I think the Bears will. I think it's just a point they have, right? 1.5.
2.5.
2.5. Yeah. So they're giving. I think they'll win by at least a field goal in this game.
I'm actually with you on that. I was originally feeling the Bears money line just because that defense. Actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm staying with it. Bears money line. Nick Foles always seems to get these streaky, lucky situations. I think these are very evenly matched teams. Um, Bears need to win, and I'm gonna take that Bears defense to beat up against the Panthers. Not much to it, not much science. I think with the Bears being a little bit of an underdog, get some value in that pick, and it's worth taking a shot on a game that's going to be close regardless.
For sure.
All right, next up we got Falcons at Vikings. Interesting one. I've been crapping on both of these teams throughout the season, uh, but I think that the Vikings will cover this 3.5 point spread. I think Kirk Cousins is playing decent football right now. I needed with Russell on a bye. I actually even picked him up from a fantasy team. That's how much faith I
Yeah,
have in him against this Swiss cheese Falcons defense for whatever reason. I still don't understand how the Falcons are as bad as
there's
they are.
both teams are probably the most the two teams that have underperformed the most for how much talent they have. Kirk Cousins is a good pick for fantasy. Also, I like both Thielen and Jefferson to go over their 84.5 yard over under total. Just like last week, the Panthers went over with both DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. The Falcons defense just isn't good. Like they don't cover any running backs in the flat. They can't cover downfield. I think the Vikings will win this pretty easily. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah,
I'm also done picking the Falcons. I think I picked them 5 weeks in a row, and I'm probably 0-5 in those games.
they just fired their GM right too, like on Tuesday or Wednesday.
Yeah, they fired everyone.
Everyone
So
coached it.
who
Yeah.
knows? Matt Ryan might be playing his last game to the Falcon as well.
So yeah, that's another reason to probably go Vikings here. All right. So next up, Jets at Dolphins. Dolphins are 8 point favorites here, and I'm assuming you're opting out of this game. But
Yep, I'm opting in.
I, I I keep wanting to pick the Jets just because I'm like, eventually something's got to break right. But I don't know. With the turmoil in their locker room, freaking losing Le'Veon Bell for nothing, couldn't even get like a fourth rounder out of him. I guess due to the contract, having to eat the cap hit. That whole situation's a mess. And the Dolphins, I mean, they're not a good team. They won't make the playoffs, but they're playing hard, in my opinion, in some of these games. And with this circus act going on, I mean, there's two circus acts in New York, but the Jets are a little bit of a bigger circus act right now. So I'm going to take the Dolphins to cover that 8 point spread.
Yeah, if I was betting, I'd definitely go that way. I actually think you say they won't make the playoffs, but they'll be 3-3 after this week, most likely. And that's within striking distance. Remember, there's an extra wild card.
That is true. I wasn't thinking that because I already have the Bills taking that division. Um,
Yeah,
it's just
definitely.
like I keep wanting to pick the Jets, but this is not the week. I see Sam Darnold going off in a couple games this year. I know everyone's getting off the hype train on him. I still think he has some talent and potential. I think a lot of it is
Yeah,
Adam
probably.
Gase and that Jets organization ruining him right now. That's why if the Jets aren't in position to pick Trevor Lawrence, I think they should stick with Darnold and start a new coaching staff. All right, so next up we got Packers at Bucks. I'm actually looking forward to this game. Rodgers versus Brady, first time as a NFC division, NFC conference matchup. Um,
Yeah, I think they're 1-1 in their careers against each other too.
so
So
this will
this
be
will be like the rubber match.
But I'm gonna take Packers to cover the. It's 1.5 spread. Packers are favored by 1.5. Well, with that being such a small spread, I'm gonna take the Packers to cover that. I mean, I agree with that being the line because there's a toss-up game to me. I think that the Packers have a slight edge here, especially due to quarterbacking. Not to say that Brady's bad. I think Rodgers is the better quarterback at the moment. And that's really my only logic. Plus, Adams is coming back this week. Hopefully, have him starting in fantasy. He practiced, I think, a couple times this week.
Yeah, it's that all indications are that he's back. So they'll have a full complement of best receiver, best running back, best quarterback out there. I'm still going with the Bucks. It just seems like a game that Tom Brady wakes up for. I'm just taking the money line because, like you said, it's such a low spread. It's not worth taking the points, and you get a little bit more value on the money line. But I think Brady wins this rubber matchup.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a toss-up this game. All right, so next up we got Rams at 49ers, and this could have been a good matchup, but I'm not actually looking forward to it that much now. Uh, with all this injuries with the 49ers, even though the Rams are finally playing decently, in my opinion. I'm not. This is another toss-up game, and I'm not exactly like. So the Rams are 3.5 point favorites in this. I'm just taking the money line for the Rams. I think they'll win this game, but I'm just not confident that they can cover that spread because I mean, the 49ers just went to a Super Bowl, and there's a reason for that, whether they're injured or not.
I'm buying into the Super Bowl hangover with the 49ers. I also just really like the Rams. I think they're back to what they were 2 years ago with ground and pound, even though there's no Todd Gurley. Jared Goff looks like the MVP quarterback that he was again, and they're just quarterback questions all over the place. Even though they're a Super Bowl contender in the 49ers, like, is there a difference between Garoppolo and CJ Beathard? There hasn't been so far this season. I have trouble picking them. I think the Rams will cover the 4-point spread, and it might even be worse than that. It might be a statement game for the Rams where they just put it away early.
Who's quarterbacking for the Niners in this one? I haven't been keeping up with
that. It's Jimmy G right now, but it seems like it's a very fluid situation. Like if he comes out and has 2 bad series in a row, I don't think that Shanahan will hesitate to get someone else in there.
Yeah, that's another reason why I'm feeling Rams here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so next we got Chiefs and Bills at Monday at 5 p.m., which I'm pissed. I wish they would have moved the Cardinals and the Cowboys to the 5 p.m. and made the Chiefs Bills the primetime game because I am so hyped for this Chiefs Bills game.
Well, also, what's wrong? Like, I love the 2 Monday night games. I would love if they made that part of the schedule every single week. But why 5 o'clock? Like, people are still
they could have even did 7:15. Especially like, I mean, Cardinals and Cowboys. Like, you're talking Cardinals are already a West Coast team, so if they were to start at 9:30, 10 o'clock, like the week 1 Monday night football games, and Cowboys, Dallas is what, like an hour behind us at least, I think. They're like Central Time, maybe.
I think they could have went 7 and 10.
Yeah,
or maybe 6 and 8:30 or something like that.
Yeah, something like that. I think 5 p.m. is just so early, especially for this game. A game that's gonna be this good, in my opinion. But nonetheless, the Chiefs are they are 4-point favorites in this, and this is just so tough to pick. I really want to pick the Bills here, but it's a small spread, and again, the Chiefs are just playing at such a high level. I'm gonna take the Chiefs to cover that 4-point spread, and I think they're gonna barely make it. I see this being close. It's gonna be a good test for the Bills too. I think they're for real, but I guess we'll really find out after this game.
Yeah, it's 2 very good teams. I think the 2 best teams in the AFC, maybe the Steelers or the Ravens, are above the Bills, but I think I put the Bills above them if Josh Allen plays the way he did in the first 4 weeks.
Oh, I have the Bills above the Ravens.
So 2 very good teams coming off losses. I'm going to take the Chiefs to cover just like you, just because Andy Reid with an extra day or extra days in between games has been good for his career. And I just can't see, like, the Bills have the personnel to go with the formula that the Raiders went with last week to beat them. But I can't see the Chiefs being as good as they are with extra firepower now with Le'Veon Bell on board, getting beat the same way twice. I think that they'll come out and make a statement.
I agree. should be a good one to look forward to. Unfortunately, I had a crappy time. All right, next up, the final game of the week is your normal Monday Night Football time slot of 8:20, I think. Cardinals at Cowboys, with at Cardinals are 2.5 point favorites in this. Um, it's kind of hard pick in my opinion. I think the Cardinals probably should be able to cover that. It's just so many like ifs now, especially with Dak being out, which that was kind of upsetting to watch. Even
Yeah,
as a Giants fan, that was
that
hard
was
to
a
watch.
tough injury, especially because you know like what he was open about what he went to with like mental health and stuff like that after his brother unfortunately took his life, and like he has the contract situation hanging over his head, so it was definitely tough to watch. Hopefully he gets. It seems like they got him surgery the night of,
Yeah,
so it won't be as bad as Alex Smith's injury.
it didn't look as bad as Alex Smith. Plus, Dak is younger. It's definitely gonna be a hard road to recovery, but I have faith that Dak will be back. He's probably gonna need
Yeah,
like just either plan a tag one more year or something like a prove it deal or something. That's the upsetting part. Is it's just gonna make that getting that big contract he wants a little harder. But I
yeah,
have faith that
definitely.
things will work out for him. But
But it
yeah,
should be another shootout game for the Cowboys. I think every single game they've been in has been a shootout
yeah,
besides the week one game against the Rams. I'm taking the Cardinals to win.
yeah. It's a small spread, and as we said, with this being a shootout game, neither one of us have picked an over and under in any of these. So I'm gonna change up the pace, and my pick for this game is the over. It's 54.5 points on DraftKings as of Saturday at 5:30 or whenever we're filming this right now, and I'm taking that. Uh, Mainly, as I said, it's just I think the Cardinals will win, but it's just due to like no Dak. But it's hard to pick because, in my opinion, Andy Dalton's not like Andy Dalton as your backup is a good backup situation.
Also, the Cowboys offense is structured very similarly to Dalton's Bengals offense when they had AJ
Yeah,
Green and Marvin Jones and Tyler Eifert, a couple
yeah.
good running backs. So
Think
it's
about
not he's probably the best backup quarterback in all of football.
Yeah, and with the Dallas offense situation, with the talent they have on that offense, the O line they have, I mean, it's definitely downgrade from Dak for sure, big downgrade. But I don't think like if I was a Cowboys fan, I don't think I wouldn't be like, oh no, Dalton's our core, like you know what I mean. I'd still
Yeah,
have
for
some
sure.
hope, especially with the NFC East being such a crap division this year. I'd still have some hope as a Cowboys fan that they can win this division, even with Dalton starting.
Yeah, they definitely should have still have hope. They just need. I feel like the defense is still a bigger question mark than
That's
the
yeah.
quarterback situation.
But yeah, I think this is gonna be a shootout game. Should be exciting. Hopefully, good
Yeah,
for me because I got Zeke. Hopefully, we'll get a lot of touches and some receptions out of the backfield. I think Zeke will be a bigger piece of this offense now, which is good for me. But yeah, I'm looking forward to
yeah.
that.
That's why I asked you if you were willing to trade him. I was looking for that boost. But
And
you're smart to hold on
yeah,
for sure. I'm excited for this week of football. I think it'll be a week to remember. Some big plays, some big games.
yep. And hopefully everybody has a good week. Be responsible. Don't put the house on anything unless you have two houses. No, don't do that either. Just have fun and make some
Yep,
monetary gains.
gambling's fun.